We have required relative pronouns and we have optional relative pronouns. As you can see, sometimes people omit relative pronouns. Okay, and we are going to see when can we omit these relative pronouns and when we need to write or to say them in the sentence. Okay, so when we have the subject of the clause, when we have the relative pronoun as the subject of the clause, the relative pronouns is required. Okay, and when we have the relative pronoun as the object of the clause, the relative pronoun is optional. Okay, so the subject is who performs the action. Ok, ya dijimos esto, que el sujeto era quien realiza la acción y el objeto, ok, el object de la oración o del clause es quien recibe la acción. Ok, entonces cuando nuestro relative pronouns es el sujeto, is required, significa que no podemos eliminarlo, no podemos quitarlo, necesitamos ponerlo o decirlo en nuestra oración. But when the relative pronoun is the object, it's optional. We can omit the relative pronoun, okay? So, for example, people who hate chocolate are uncommon, okay? So, in this sentence, who, okay, is the subject because these people who are performing the action of hating chocolate, okay? Entonces, como nuestro relative pronouns es el sujeto, no podemos omitirlo. No podemos decir people hate chocolate are uncommon, porque nuestra oración sería incompleta. Okay? But here we have another example. The dish that I ordered was delicious. Okay, as you can see, the dish that I ordered is the object of the clause. Why? Why do you think is the object? Why do you think that is the object of the clause? Who is the person who performs the action in the sentence?
Me.
Yes, me, right? This is the subject, okay? Yo ordeno la comida, ¿y qué ordeno? La comida. Entonces, como that es la cosa que recibe la acción, nuestro relative pronoun es opcional. We can say, the dish I ordered was delicious. Ok, podemos borrar o omitir el relative pronoun. Ok, so, ¿cómo podemos darnos cuenta de otra manera? Ok, una de las formas de darnos cuenta de cuándo podemos eliminarlo es cuando es el object, right? Object of the clause. But another way is, it says, you can usually tell when a relative pronoun is the object of the clause because it is followed by another subject and verb. And as you can see, the relative pronoun is followed by a subject and a verb, right? But in this case, the relative pronoun is not followed by a subject and a verb, just a verb, okay? So when you have a subject and a verb after the relative pronoun, it means that this relative pronoun is the object of the clause. So you can omit the relative pronoun and say your sentence like this. Okay? So, when can we omit the relative pronoun? Voy a preguntarle a alguno de ustedes. Let's go with Ingrid. When can we omit the relative pronoun?
We can omit it when we have a pronoun and a person, I guess, in both places. Like before that, for example, like we see that the dish that I ordered.
Okay. Okay, you understood, but it is not clear. Your explanation is not clear. Try to order your ideas, okay? Let's go with, okay, here I have two participants. Let's go with Alejandra, please tell me. When can we omit the relative pronoun?
When we refer object, the subject is an object.
The subject is an object?
When, sorry, when we refer uh, that I don't clear how to explain it,
Okay,
but
try to write your idea, your explanation, and then you're going to have the opportunity. Geldi, please tell me, when can we omit the relative pronoun in a sentence?
When the relative pronoun is the object of the sentence.
Okay, very good. When the relative pronoun is the object of the sentence, we can omit it. Okay? Okay, good. When do we realize that this relative pronoun is the object of the sentence? When? When can we realize about this? Daniel Puerta? When? How can you realize that the relative pronoun is the object of your sentence? Flor?
Teacher, because it's followed by a subject and a verb.
Very good, Edilson. When the relative pronoun is followed by
When receive the action.
and yes, when receives the action, very good. And when it is followed by a subject and a verb. Very good. Okay, good. Any questions until here? We're going to check the book here. It says relative pronouns in defining relative clauses. I want you to tell me what is the difference between a defining relative clause and a non-defining relative clause. Voy a preguntar a alguien, let's see. Rosario, tell me.
Yeah. Defining express essential information and not defining express extra information.
Very good. Yes, very good. And we are going to talk about defining relative clauses in this part of the lesson, okay? So, Melanie, please, can you read the first part of the grammar panel here?
Okay. Relative pronouns in defining relative clause. A number of different relative pronouns are used to introduce defining relative clauses. When the relative pronoun is the subject of the clause, it is required. When it is the object, it is usually optional.
Okay, very good. So you have the same explanation here. So you can underline or circle or do whatever is necessary for you to understand this. Okay, when it is the subject, it is required. We need it. Okay, we cannot erase it. And when it is the object of our clause, it's optional. Okay, so here we have relative pronouns referring to people. Please, Daisy, can you read the first sentence?
professionals who used to commute to their jobs are now working from home.
Okay, very good. Professionals who or that used to commute to their jobs are now working from home. Okay, very good. In this sentence, who or that is the subject of a clause. So that's why the subject is required. We cannot erase it, okay? But in the next sentence is the object of the clause, so it's optional. That's why is between parentheses. Okay, when we have something between parentheses, it means that it is optional. We can use them, use any of these relative pronouns or no. Okay, let's go to let's read this sentence, please. Daniela Siles, can you read the sentence?
Okay. An herbal therapist is a health professional who that want more and more people are consulting about both mental and physical health.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. What is the subject and verb that are following the relative pronoun in this sentence? Can you tell me what is the subject and verb that is following or are following this relative pronoun in the sentence?
People are.
Very good. So we have people and we have the verb are. Okay, so this more and more is just an additional, they are additional words. Okay, more and more people are. Okay, very good. So we can omit. We can say a herbal therapist is a health professional who more and more people are consulting about both mental and physical health. Okay, or we can omit this. A herbal therapist is a health professional. More and more people are consulting about both mental and physical health. Okay, so we can use this or not. Let's go to the next one. Relative pronouns referring to things. Okay, let's go with Nicole. Can you read the first, please?
Okay, subject of clause required. People are demanding vegetables and fruits that or which have been grown without the use of chemicals.
Okay, very good. People are demanding vegetables and fruits that or which have been grown without the use of chemicals. Very good. Okay, so as you can see in this part, the relative pronoun is required. Let's go to the next one, please. Jerry.
Okay. Object of growth. Herbal therapy is an option that on which more and more people are considering as an alternative to traditional medicine.
Okay, good. So you can see here we have exactly the same. We have more and more, and then we have people are, right? Then we have here relative pronoun as objects of possessions. Okay, so for example, in colloquial English, relative pronouns that are the objects of possession are optional. In more formal language, however, the preposition generally precedes the relative pronoun and either which or whom must be used. Okay, so here we have two cases in which we can use the same relative pronouns, but in the first one, the relative pronoun is optional, and in the second one is required. Okay, so let's see here. My herbal therapist is the health professional who that or whom I speak to often, to most often. Insomnia is a problem which or that herbal therapy is commonly used for. Okay, then we have here required. My herbal therapist is the health professional to whom I speak more often. Okay, as you can see here we have to whom. So that's why in this sentence is required. Okay, and in this case we have for which. Okay, insomnia is a problem for which herbal therapy is commonly used. So these change everything. Okay, to and for. So that's why in these sentences, the relative pronoun is required. But in the previous one, the relative pronoun is not required because we don't have these prepositions here, okay? And then we have the relative pronoun referring to possession. Require, it says. Parents whose children are not doing well in traditional school are turning to homeschooling as a solution. Okay, so here we have all exactly the same explanation, but you have this in your books, okay? So here we have some sentences. I want you to read them, and I want you to tell me if the relative pronoun here is required or not required, okay? Or is optional. So I'm going to give you some minutes, read the sentences carefully, and tell me if the relative pronoun is required or optional.